All right, everybody. Welcome back to the show. It's the Cain Stevens Paranormal Super Show. And I'm once again your host, Cain Stevens, and I'm back at it again. I'm here with my co-host, Teddy the Cockapoo. He's laying here side-eyeing me, looking unimpressed. And I think our other co-host, Rocket's in here somewhere hiding, lurking in the dark. So like a black cat. Um, we're still picking up steam. We're doing good as a podcast. We're getting a lot of listeners, a lot of people messaging me ghost stories. I may be going to the Arnold Heights neighborhood meeting coming up next week, and tell them what I'm up to, and hopefully they don't you know carry me away and light torches and make me run away with pitchforks surrounding me or what. So hopefully that goes well. I think they just want to know what the heck I'm doing and what's it all about. So I'll go give them my pitch on what I think is going on. Got a lot of exciting things going on here. Started my new podcast, my Christian podcast, Lost and Found. That should be out soon if it isn't already when this comes out. So check that out as well. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain. God is good. God's treating me well, and I have my struggles with my health, but I guess that's going to be part of it with my heart stuff and my shoulder surgery. I guess my shoulder is still frozen, so they're trying to work that out since my surgery. COVID really kind of did me in on inflammation and stuff. So yeah, it's been something, but hey, I'm here and I'm happy to be here. This show, I've got another ghost story since it's still Ghosttober, from the Arnold Heights Cursive series from my possible, my book that I've been working on. Not sure if I'm gonna release it or not. But this this ghost story is a story that I wrote called Last House on the Left. And it's a story of boy and his ghost story growing up in the 90s and having things happen out in the in the Arnold Heights Airpark area. So, I just want you guys to buckle in and get ready for that. After the story, I think I'll do a little bit of para news. I found a really cool story off of coasttocoast.com. And if we have time, maybe we'll do the dream segment as well. So we're kind of shifting things around, but I want to get right to the ghost story. So, um, right now it's time for you guys to paint a picture for yourself. I want you to start to maybe turn the lights down low, dim them a little bit, grab your little blankies and your little safety bears, and just get yourself ready for this. You buckle in, everybody, and enjoy the ghost story.
Like many Friday nights, the sound of drunken laughter and adult shenanigans moved throughout the house. Brett was your typical elementary school kid in the 90s, full of adventure, wonder. His imagination ran wilder than Hulkamania. He imagined what the adults were doing outside in the next rooms. Their voices erupted with each drink they consumed. Brett would pretend they were zoo animals to keep himself entertained. Monkeys swinging wildly, cooing and screeching from branch to branch. Zebras neighing like horses and galloping back and forth. Not to mention the lions' roar when they would get angry. The fun started to fade and reality set in as a drunken fight breaks out in what sounded like the living room. Brett had witnessed many things during these parties, but this time, it felt different. The room he liked to stay in and hide was his safe place. It was his mom's room, and the most comfy bedroom throughout the house. As if Tesla's coil was charged to the max, every hair on Brett's head stood up. First a couple of female voices going up with each profanity-filled sentence. Then a couple of men's voices followed by the sound of glass breaking. Brett tried to hide himself under a couple of blankets, but the heat from his breath was just too much. He peeked out the holes he created to let the cold air come in. A loud crash. Then another. Like the thunder from a violent storm, Brett uncovered some more to see what he could see. The door swung open wildly, but nobody was there to greet him. Before he could get up to shut the door, it swung back hard in the closed position, as if someone was on the other side. A shadow went quickly from the door to the other side of the room. Brett watched as the room filled with darkness, blocking out all the light that was left. Brett lay back paralyzed with fear. A few loud screams from outside, then his mom's voice. "Get the hell out of here!" she yelled. A few clanks of bottles in the trash, then silence. At least, for now. As the party faded and the night became early morning, it seemed as if the coast was clear. The darkness seemed to subside in the room, and the area where the shadow once was before, now just a corner full of clothes again. Brett raised his head with a sigh of relief. Oh, thank God it's over, he thought. Just as soon as the house fell calm, footsteps creaking slowly down the hall until they landed right outside the door. Another thump against the door. Then another. Brett dropped beneath the covers yet again. The knob on the door began shaking. Then, much like before, the door swung wildly open, hitting the drywall behind it. Brett, now in a full sweat, screamed, "Mom!" The door blasted violently closed yet again. Brett's mom came running to his aid. "Brett, what the heck are you doing to the door?" she said. "It's getting late. Go to sleep." Brett began babbling incoherently to her about a shadow man slamming the door. "It was just your brother playing tricks on you," she said. "The party's over. Almost everyone's gone except Gus and Jerry." She assured him if he needed her, she would be right outside. All seemed calm, so Brett decided now was a great time to get some shut-eye. Counting sheep, his eyes began to get heavy. Last sheep over the fence, he began his descent into dreamland when another thump came by way of the door. How could this be, Brett wondered. Almost in a daze from his near slumber, he screamed angrily, "Jason, quit it!" There was no answer to his cry. The door shook for a short time, then crashed shut. A few seconds later, more creaking on the old duplex floor, then back open again. Brett was beside himself this time. "Jason, I've had enough. I'm telling Mom." So he slammed the door. "Mom!" he screamed. "Mom, help!" The door opened again, this time with more control. It was his brother Jason. "Shut up!" he bellowed. "Why do you keep slamming the door?" Brett sat there with a confused on his leg. Who was doing this, he thought. Jason began coming closer to his brother when a bomb-like boom from the door behind him. Jason was quickly on the bed too, like a scared cat. Both boys knew that neither of them had an explanation for what just happened. "Mom!" they both screamed in terror. Their mom came barreling down the hall. "What's going on, boys?" she said with her mom instincts kicking in. "The door!" they screamed. She walked closer to them and sat on the bed. "The door keeps slamming open and shut." She grabbed a pillow from the mini on the bed. She walked over to the door and laid the pillow up against the door to prevent it from moving about. "Problem solved," she celebrated. "Now go to sleep," she said. The two decided to lay down, one boy at one end, one facing the opposite end. They could hear rattling of the doorknob, but assumed the pillow would save the day. Maybe 30 minutes had passed and Jason began snoring. This annoyed Brett, but he was glad to have his big brother there with him. Another thump. Brett sat up. Brett couldn't believe his eyes. Nobody there, just darkness. He screamed in terror, "Mom! Mom!" Jason sat up like he was resurrected. "Mom!" they yelled. Their mom came running once again, the door shut in her face. She began jiggling the knob, but to no avail. Finally, the door gave in, and she hurried to the two screaming sons. They sat on the bed and embraced one another. Just like before, the door slammed shut, harder this time. The three of them were fully terrified at this point. Everyone had gone home, they were alone, or so they thought. Brett's mom sat bewildered, wondering if some of the party had made its way back. Staring at the door, a shadow began moving down the hall. Their mom decided to move the pillow back against the door, as if it would stop anything from entering. Just as she got it wedged and headed back to the boys, the door swung violently closed again, then immediately back open, slamming into the wall. The force was so great it left an indentation of the knob in the drywall. "Leave us alone!" she screamed. No response. They waited about a minute, then she decided to call the police. The activity died down, but Brett, his mom, and his brother waited impatiently for help. Each second passing could be the impending doom of them all. This house was a breeding ground for negativity. This night was its final straw. Pounding in the distance, the police had finally arrived. Brett's mom had explained what was going on, and the police searched the premises for any sign of trespass. The house now completely calm, not a sound to be heard. They found nobody else inside and no sign of foul play. The house was normal again.
All right, man, that was awesome. That was a, a chilling account that someone has given me about something that happened to them. Obviously, I've done a little Hollywood magic, boom, 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 ding, 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 and made it a little more palatable for you. But most of the stories there, I just had to make it a story. So I the names and faces are changed, but the story's basically there. So there's another account of a haunting in Arnold Heights. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you're digging this Ghosttober, Rocktober with me. It's been awesome doing this. And now, without further ado, I believe if I can pull it up here, I'll ask my trusty producer. Yep, yep. I mean me. I don't have a producer. I am the producer. Um, we can't afford all that, can we? we learned ourselves. So this one out of Coast to Coast AM, Coast to Comb off of Coast to Comb, excuse me, Coast to Coast. Coast to Comb would be all right. If you're, well, oh, I love my screw ups here. Oh well, I'll So, anyways, so this one from Coast to Coast AM, Coast to Coast is a show on the AM dial. You can catch it every night. This is a George Norrie. It used to be Art Bell. But anyways, this says an individual in Connecticut claims that they spotted a small bipedal entity resembling a tree on legs that dashed across their driveway and left them wondering if they had just seen an alien. So that's that's definitely para-newsworthy. That's awesome. So let's dig into this a little more. So I guess they reported it to the National UFO Reporting Center. So check that out if you have some UFOs to report or anything. They actually did it back in August, and then it came to light this week by way of local media stories for that area. According to the unnamed witness, the incident occurred on the morning of August 3rd in the town of Oxford, and they were heading down their driveway. The observers stopped in their tracks when a puzzling 4-foot tall being ran out of the woods to the left, across their driveway, and into the woods/yard of the property on the right. And it was only about 10 yards away. The witness managed to get a pretty good look at it. The creature, which they likened to a tree on legs with small arms, possessing no visible curves, hips, or shoulders. The oddity is said to have been brown and skinny with no fur or hair, and it moved lightning fast and light as a feather, as if it wasn't even touching the ground. So it definitely wasn't a brick house. Uh, those their interpretation of what it looked like. This tree-like figure wasn't stacked, so to speak. Uh, it Remarkably, the witness observed that not only was the creature silent, but its presence seemingly caused a quiet to fall over the area, as none of the birds or other animals made a sound during the moment. One additional detail noticed by the residents is that its legs moved in a peculiar fashion, as if it were pedaling a bike. Man, this is wild. Uh, it looks like they didn't see a tail, they didn't see ears, any other body parts that a normal animal or human would have, insisting that they were completely sober, so they hadn't been drinking Grandpa's cough syrup, and they said that they also weren't hallucinating as they weren't on drugs. So that's always good when you're uh, trying to be a witness to a reporting of the paranormal. So there you go, everybody. A little para news for you. Watch out for those two-leg bicycling, skinny, no-hipped creatures running like the wind. I guess they're out there. Yeah, you're not fooling me. With all the stuff that I've read and all the trash I've filled my mind with over the years. And it's not all trash, but you get what I mean. It's to me, it seems pretty normal. So it's para news, paranormal to you, but somewhat normal to me. So I've never seen it though. So that's awesome. Well, I don't know if we're gonna do I don't know if we're gonna do a dream segment this time. I think we're just gonna kind of end it on this. But these are some short episodes, but I wanted to give you something. So, thank you guys once again for listening to the show. There's a lot coming up. I'm not just going to be doing Arnold Heights stuff. I'd like to do some segments on other Lincoln hauntings. I'd like to do a segment on Robbers Cave. Do some famous hauntings throughout the world, and maybe even do like a haunted top 10 or something, and we'll just kind of talk about it. But for now, I really do like the trajectory of the show. Everything's going great. I hope that you listen to my new podcast if you are Christian, or if you just want to hear some new content from me, that'd be awesome. So the Lost and Found podcast with Cain Stevens is coming out very soon, if not already. It'll be on all streaming, including YouTube. So check that out. If you're not into that, I don't, I hope that someday you will be. But I just hope not to. I hope not to start a deal where people are, coming at me about Christianity and all this, and how can I have a paranormal podcast too? I think that it's important to talk about the paranormal because if you read the Bible, it's pretty supernatural. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. So maybe there's a lot of stuff out there that we just don't understand because we are, well, at least I am, just simple human beings with simple minds and simple things going on. So thank you guys for sticking around. I love you. I love all of you, all the new listeners, everybody. Please continue to tune in. I appreciate you all. It's been real. It's been fun. It's even been real fun at times. So we will see you on the other side. Good night.